that video you're about to watch, this is the intro for it, because at the time, on the day, I forgot to film an intro, and this is the first time that I'm getting to actually sit down and talk about the show with you. It's about 3 weeks later, but, you know, here's the intro to this video, so enjoy me and my friend Alex causing chaos in London, and going to see the Back to the Future musical. But yeah, enjoy the video. Yeah, the next station's Wall. That's not where we're going. We're going to London. What are we seeing, Alex?
Shrek.
Shrek. No, we're seeing Back to the Future today.
Maybe are.
Yeah.
I thought it was Rick and Morty.
No. I mean, it's close enough, to be honest, isn't it? I already know this is going to be chaotic because Alex doesn't want it to be cringe. So he's just trying to make it...
I just want it to be chaotic. And also,
yeah.
crippling ADHD.
Yeah.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah, well, hey. Alex is Google mapping us for Leicester Square because we want to walk in the rain, apparently.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. Alex doesn't like buses, so I will respect his wishes.
Buses are gay.
Anyway, walking to... Oops, hold on. Walking to Leicester Square. We will get nuggies. And I also want to get bubble tea.
Not dino ones.
Not dino nuggies. Unless you ask them politely. We were in Chinatown. Alex is still pissy because he doesn't have...
We still are.
Okay, we still are in Chinatown. Alex is pissy because he didn't get dino nuggies.
Yeah, I was really promised.
I told you, buy some frozen ones from Tesco and take them into a random fast food place and just fucking...
Honestly, I'm getting down to that point.
Oh, seriously? I mean, at least I got what I wanted. I got bubble tea. Well, we went to Mackey's. Alex got nuggies, but he didn't get his dino nuggies. Well, just found out that I'm meeting up with another friend who also likes Book of Mormon. Alex has no fucking clue what it is.
No.
But, you know, we're meeting someone, which should make us both a little bit saner, I think.
You're not insane.
You're not insane?
No.
My mistake. Join us as we enter Sensory Hell, which was M&M World. It was actually pretty cool in there, and afterwards I told my friend about it, and she was like, oh yeah, that's the biggest candy wall in the world. So, you know, learn something new every day, but yeah, it was kind of scary. I met the friend I talked to. Yeah, I talked about you.
Oh god, you talked about me?
Alex might have gone to buy a £500 Lego set, but we won't know until it comes out. So...
He's just going to be carrying a big box.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Moving right along, we got to the theatre just fine. This was the view from our seats. We were in the dress circle, and we were seats B19 and B20. Okay, well, it's nothing really interesting now. We're just on the train home, really, aren't we? Peekaboo. Yes. I've got a coffee because it's my routine. Every time.
You did film in Spoons, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, we were in Spoons.
We did go to Spoons after like an hour and a half of walking around.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm back in somewhat my hometown. I'm actually staying overnight in a hotel because it was cheaper than a taxi to my house. About 50 quid cheaper, so you know, saving money I guess. Basically, we got back, it's about midnight, but I wanted to do a little outro-y just for the, you know, exploration and visit to the theatre before I go into my review section whenever I get a chance to film that, because oh my god, I have so much to say about the show. I will say there are some flaws in it that I am going to point out in that review, and you know, it wasn't not anything against the experience, it was just what I personally felt about this iconic movie becoming a musical. In simple words, it is just like you put the movie on stage with songs. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I have thoughts on, you know, the good and the bad. There's more good than bad, but I have thoughts on both, so I'll share them when I have a chance. Right now, I just wanted to maybe do a little merchandise haul because I didn't buy as much as I did when I went to Book of Mormon, but I did buy 3 items, which I'm going to show you now. Now the first one is a hoodie that I bought. Now originally, when I bought this hoodie, I could only see the front of it on the merch stand. So the front of it simply has the Back to the Future musical logo on the front. I got to Waterloo Station and I opened the bag and I was pleasantly surprised. So on the back is this huge, this huge design, and it says, where we're going we don't need roads. It's got the DeLorean in the middle with the clock. On one side it says 1955 and the other side it says 1985. I thought that was sick as hell, and it was a very pleasant surprise because I just thought it was a logo hoodie. Like, that makes it extra special. And yeah, the design is awesome on there, so I'm really happy with that. I mean, obviously you can't go to a theatre without getting a brochure / programme. So I bought this one just for my little pictures and also, you know, the general souvenir that everyone usually gets. So yeah, got that one. I might have mentioned this in my last Book of Mormon haul vlog kind of thing, but I like to collect mugs when I go to shows, and actually when I went to see Come From Away a few weeks ago, because they were closing in a few weeks, they didn't actually have any mugs because obviously they're not ordering in more merchandise stock, so I was really kind of upset about that. I got a keyring, which I don't think I showed you in that video, so maybe I'll get it out when I get home.
And I'm home and I can show you the keyring that I got. This is the keyring that I got from Come From Away. It's a very pretty keyring, and it says, "You are here at the start of the moment," which is very, very cute. But yes, this is the keyring that I didn't show you last time.
But considering it's going on tour, I could buy a mug then, or I could find one online. But, you know, I had to get a Back to the Future mug. You know, it's quite simple, you know, it's just the poster logo on the front there. But it is a cool mug. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. I am working at 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. After this, I'll insert my thoughts on the show.
Hello and welcome to my review section of the video, the vlog that you've just watched, for the Back to the Future musical in London at the Adelphi Theatre. I had an amazing time at this show. Actually, I'm going to Book of Mormon and Newsies this week, and I was searching for any sort of Back to the Future tickets that were like affordable and cheap that maybe I could do on the Saturday, to no avail. But, you know, that's life. But, you know, I guess starting my review out with the fact that I would love to go back as soon as possible is a good sign. But like every show, it had negatives, which I'm actually kind of sad to talk about because, you know, it is a musical adaptation of the movie, and I don't think the musical aspect was really necessary. Like, by all means, it could have just been a stage adaptation of Back to the Future. Back to the Future still has music in it. But my issue with the music in this show is that it was just forgettable to me. I mean, not so much now, but that's because I've listened to the Cast soundtrack a couple times since going to see it. So, you know, I've memorised more of the songs, you know, just from listening to it. But the thing about musicals is that when you come out of a musical for the first time, you want to be able to remember the songs, you know? Like, you want to be able to say, oh yeah, that was my favourite lyric, it was done really well, and I just couldn't with this. I mean, I think the only song that I fully remembered, lyric-wise, from the show when I came out of it and was like, oh yeah, that was a song I remembered, was The Power of Love, and that's in the movie. So that's why I feel like either the songs needed to be revised a bit more, or that, you know, maybe they should have just done a stage adaptation if they wanted to so badly. But to be honest, I'm really glad they did, because the next thing I need to talk about is the effects in the show. Spoilers ahead. The reason I'm putting spoilers is because, you know, the effects are incredible. Like, the way they do the car and all of that to make it look like it's moving is absolutely insane. Like, they have, this is what I think, the car's on like a turntable kind of thing, you know, like a microwave where it goes, you know, you get my point. Like in Hamilton they have a turntable as well. And they put like a transparent projection screen in front of the stage in the car, and on that they project, you know, roads going forward and all of that, so it makes it look like the car's driving, and it's absolutely insane. Like, I love the way they do it. And they use a lot of projection in the show actually, and a lot of it is very nostalgic to the movie actually. And the reason I only really put 2 and 2 together is because like a couple days before I went, I was like, I'm gonna rewatch the movie again just to, you know, refresh my mind about the story. And oh boy, I'm so glad I did, because they adapted the actual like movie effects really well for the stage, which, you know, to be honest, if this production ever did a tour, I will admit I feel like they'd have to cut down a lot on the effects because there was so much. Now, massive spoilers for the end, because the end absolutely shocked me. The car flies over the audience, flies over the stalls, and where me and Alex were sat near the front of the dress circle, it pretty much came nose to nose with the front of the dress circle, and it was absolutely insane. Like, I've said that a lot now, those 2 words, but it really was. Like, and they were just waving, and the car did like a full 360 spin. Like, how? I just want to know how. In all of the effects, they were just brilliant. And one thing I also really loved about the atmosphere was the audience's energy and their reactions to the effects. Like, it made it so much more thrilling to hear everyone else around you also be just as shocked as you are. Like, for example, the Doc's entrance when he first comes in the DeLorean to meet Marty in the parking lot. You know, he got a massive round of applause for his entrance. And there were a lot of applauses during the show that weren't just at the end of songs. Like, everyone in the audience was rooting for these characters. Like, the energy was amazing. I absolutely loved it. Now, our Doc Brown wasn't Roger Bart who originated the role. It was actually Corey English. And I think he did a fantastic job at playing Doc Brown. Obviously, I can't really compare the two. I mean, my mum saw Roger Bart back in October. I wasn't there. I was, meanwhile, seeing Book of Mormon. But Corey English was absolutely incredible as Doc Brown. Like, he was so funny. Like, he just brought... He wasn't copying the original. That's what I could tell, you know what I mean? Like, he was putting his own spin on it, but in, like, a really funny way. And, you know, like, he was the mad scientist that we all need Doc Brown to be. His interactions with Marty, again, spot on. Like, they were incredible. They were such a good duo together. Like, they really, you could tell that they bounced off of each other so well on stage. Like, that was flawless. With the song situation, I know, you know, they're not gonna all be perfect in a new musical, and, you know, maybe they could revise them. I know it's coming to the US, I think, this year, possibly. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that if I'm wrong, because I don't want to hype anyone from the US up. But I think it's going over there, and honestly, I feel like if the songs were revised a bit more, it could be a bit more enjoyable. Not to say that the songs aren't enjoyable, like, in the moment when you're watching them, they are, like, really fun and upbeat and cool. But I just feel like some of them, most of them, could use a bit of work. Because the thing is, what ends up happening is when you leave the theatre, you remember the scene, but you don't remember the song. Which was why I was like, why couldn't it have just been, like, a stage adaptation, you know? Because then you wouldn't require people to, you know, memorise the songs and all of that. And I'm not saying you have to know all the lyrics when you leave a new musical for the first time, but I feel like it's important for lyrics to be able to stick with you. And that just didn't happen here for me, really. And all the supporting cast, as well as, you know, the 2 protagonists, like, everyone was so, like, true to the movie. Like, everyone's characterization was completely spot on to the movie. And you could, you know, like Doc Brown, like I said, he wasn't copying the original, but he had the same energy to it. And I feel like that's really important when you're adapting such a beloved film for, like, so many people. I haven't actually watched the sequels, though. Maybe I should, but, you know, which I think is really important for people who, you know, maybe saw the Back to the Future movie when they were a kid, and, you know, it's very nostalgic to them, like, these characters and the story. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. The fact that all the use of video effects just made it so cool. And it brought back the sort of nostalgic movie feeling, like you were sat in a movie theatre, which is really cool, really cool. One positive thing I will say about the songs, I know this review isn't very structured, but I don't really structure my reviews, I just kind of talk at you, you know, with whatever flows to my head. But one good thing about the songs that I think was actually, you know, quite clever with storytelling is that whenever they're in the 1985 setting, a lot of the songs are 80s style, and when they go into the 50s, all of the music is very 50s style. And one thing I noticed, even when Marty's in the 50s setting, if he is having a song to himself or having a section of a song to himself, his section is an 80s-ified section, if that makes any sense. Like his music isn't 50s even if he's in the 50s. So I feel like that just shows how out of place he is in 1955, which was actually really clever music-wise. And yeah, I think that just kind of ends my review for Back to the Future. It wasn't like the best musical I've ever seen, but it was probably the best, or one of the best, like stage adaptation kind of visual shows that I have ever seen. Like, it was so good. But yeah, I just think the music could be improved a little bit, and maybe some of the immersion effects could be improved a little bit so everyone sort of has the same experience. But yeah, I think it's a very strong show and I would love to go again in the future. That was funny, and that was also an unintentional pun. Anyway, yeah, I just think there are some ways where it could be improved. But for now, it was a really good experience and I want to go again. So that's an amazing thing. See you next time, where I will be going back to Book of Mormon for the evening of Saturday the 11th of February. And then on Sunday the 12th of February, I will be seeing the 1 PM matinee of Newsies for the first time, which I'm so excited about. So stay tuned for that. Bye!